And welcome back to a News You Can Use podcast, powered by B&Us LLC. My name is Frenchier. I am the host and creator and business owner of B&Us LLC and a News You Can Use podcast. We are so grateful that you are tuned in to another episode of a News You Can Use podcast. Make sure you are going back and listening and downloading the past episodes. There are so many ways that you can contribute and engage and support and collaborate with a News You Can Use podcast. If you've been listening to the podcast already, then you've heard the radio spots submitted by MIDT Records and B&B Productions. Thank you so much. The artists, we play 30-second spots. They're already recorded. For JCD, the artist, the musicians JCD, David Nelson of The Last Poets, and Pharaoh Jarumba. So musicians are business owners. Send in your pre-recorded commercials to advertise and promote your businesses. Musicians, send in your music. I'll play it. Hope you've enjoyed my brothers out of Dallas, Texas, their music, Common Folk. I play a lot of their music on the podcast. Show a lot of local love. Tefpo. I'm familiar with the artist Mama Soul. I've been playing some of her music. My sorority sister, my big sister, celebrated 25 years as an AKA recently. Happy AKA versary, as we say it. Silver Soror, Rhonda Nicole. She's an amazing artist. I play her music. Denisha. So I've just been playing so far almost 30 episodes, almost 900 plays of the episode, and I've been playing your music. I want to, the whole goal of this podcast is to provide you melanated people across the diaspora with information, facts, and news that you can truly use, while also highlighting Black businesses, Black brands, Black products, Black services, and Black positive music. Curating our narrative, curating a positive narrative for Black people. Also contact me to be a business spotlight. Market and advertise your businesses on a News You Can Use podcast. I know you've enjoyed Irvin Williams and Stefan West, Miss Caesar, Dr. D, True Trifecta, Kim Summers Mosby. A reach, rendering, encouragement, reach. We've had so many great people on already in the first 2 months. We look forward to all the other business. We look forward to speaking to you. So you may message us or email me on our social media platforms so that you can advertise your business on the podcast. Again, that's the whole goal. It was awesome talking to It's Just Live on Instagram today with 100.3 The Beats. Connecting with Rainy on 101.37. My friend Lord Sarbrook, he sends me clips from his podcast that I've been featuring as well. So this is a collaboration, you guys, and teamwork truly does make their dreams work. So our social media platforms where you can message us is B and Us LLC. On Facebook, on Instagram, it's at Frenchier. It's my name, FRENCHAIRE. On Twitter, Miss Frenchie 06, MSFRENCHY06. So very grateful for you. Thankful for you for shopping with me on all of my brands. I got a bunch of brands, a bunch of websites. B&Us LLC, that's my main brand. You can shop my brands and designs and art and all kinds of things. Just go look. Just take a look. BEANDUSLLC.com. That's BEANDUSLLC.com. Purchase your natural, organic, earthy, healthy products from me. Essential oils, cannabis products, teas to lose weight, creams for discomfort, things to grow your hair. Need help with your libido? We got that. Healthy Place Botanicals. My particular site is Frenchie's Wonders, healthyplacebotanicals.com. So FRENCHYSWONDERS dot HEALTHYPLACEBOTANICALS.com. The B&Us LLC market has created and designed some products. You can buy those on Teespring, TEESPRING. Search for the B&Us LLC market. I designed using a piece of artwork that I created and I painted. I designed tote bag, Android and Apple phone case covers, phone covers, mugs in all different colors, and I also designed a pair of tights, some leggings. So shop with me. I am a distributor and the webmaster for Amber Bookstores LLC, which is a local bookstore here in St. Louis. The owner, Greg Reed, that's one of my partners. He's amazing. He's been in business the last 25 years. It's a mobile bookstore where you can buy all of your books. And what books we don't have, we're willing to order. So shop our books, www.amberbookstores.com. That's www.amberbookstores.com. Show up and show out May 4th, 2019 at Harry Stowe University, historically black college university here in St. Louis, Missouri. May 4th, we'll be having our holistic health fair and seminar with our keynote speaker, the Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel Jordan. Sponsors St. Louis Natural Hair and Black Cultural Expo. Buy your tickets today, $10. I'm also partnered with St. Louis Natural Hair and Black Cultural Expo. Our 5th annual expo will take place October 12th and 13th here in sunny St. Louis, down at the downtown Holiday Inn. October 12th and 13th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. And we need a lot of folks. Come on. Teamwork makes the dreams work. Come highlight and showcase your businesses and your natural products at the St. Louis Natural Hair and Black Cultural Expo. We need sponsors, vendors, makers, bankers, financial experts, makeup artists, models, stylists, barbers. Contact Chris Simpson at 314-899-0401. Again, contact Chris Simpson, 314-899-0401, and email us at stlnhbce@yahoo.com. stlnhbce@yahoo.com. Thank you. We'll be back. If you listen to this podcast in Apple Music and Apple Podcasts, please rank and review the podcast so that we can be heard by more people. So go ahead and take a moment right now and write a review for a News You Can Use podcast. Thank you so much. Good morning, a News You Can Use podcast listeners. It is 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on May 6th, 2019. It's Monday, and we are grateful for another week. Quote of the day comes from the quotesalarm.com, the Quotes Alarm app. It says, "Yes, I am a dreamer. For a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world." Yes, I am a dreamer. For a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. Oscar Wilde. Live your biggest dreams. In St. Louis, Missouri, it is 57 degrees. It's 9:01 a.m. in New York, and it's 57 degrees. 8:01 a.m. in Cockrell Hill or Dallas, Texas. What up, Big D? That's my hometown. It's 71 degrees. It's 2:01 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, and it is 90 degrees. 1:01 p.m. in Accra, Ghana, and it's 89 degrees. And 9:01 a.m. in Havana, Cuba, and it's 80 degrees. I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of A News You Can Use. Make sure you download the Anchor app so that you can leave us voice messages and support the podcast. We need you to contribute monthly. Make sure you are following, ranking, liking, subscribing the podcast, and leaving reviews so that more people can listen to a News You Can Use podcast. We want to get the word out. We are curating our narratives. We're constantly inundated with negativity, and this podcast stands as a counter to all of the negativity, providing you with positive facts, news, information, truths that you can use while also highlighting Black businesses, Black brands, Black positive music, Black services and products. Connect with us on our social media platforms, B and Us LLC on Facebook and Instagram at Friendshare, FRENCHAIRE, and on Twitter at Miss Frenchie06, MSFRENCHY06. We look forward to your voice messages that you record so that we will play them on the next episode. Peace and blessings. Thank you, John Lee Dumas, for the Daily Refresh. It's from May 6, 2019. He explains why we take deep breaths for rejuvenation and renewal of our bodies.
Hey, John Lee Dumas here, and welcome back to the Daily Refresh, where I share a quote, gratitude, and guided breathing in under 3 minutes. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the difference. What's the road that you're taking? think about it. And if you're taking the one less traveled, that's not always a bad thing. And something you need to be grateful for, how about you? How about today is you day? Because you deserve all the happiness and the kindness in the world. Do not forget it. Be kind, be happy, be grateful for yourself. Now take a few seconds and think of something unique in your life that you're grateful for. It will warm your soul. And now it's time for guided breathing. So grab a seat and remember, all breathing is through the nose, and we'll be breathing in for a count of 4, out for a count of 4, a total of 5 times, which will fully circulate amazing oxygen into your body. We'll begin in 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 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 2, 3, 4. Relax. Congratulations on completing the daily refresh. And if you want to take your life to the next level, check out my free training, 3 hours to your big idea. In just 3 hours, you'll have the big idea that you can go all in on. And the best part, the entire training is free. Visit yourbigidea.io to start today. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Free your mind while it's time. What's up with that? I got one thing on my mind. What's up with that? Revolution. Yo, that's Pharaoh Jerome. Please make me die 1,000 deaths in a day, and then I won't jump in the front while you put it down for the new time. Put it down for the new time. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Shalom, shalom. Hotel. Yeah, MIDT Records. B&B Productions. Rhythmic Sound. Love to rap to you. Check it out. At all your local neighborhood stores.
Send in your pre-recorded commercials ready for playing on the podcast. Send your music. Didn't you just hear that clip? The spoken word artist from The Last Poet, David Nelson. I know you heard Pharaoh Jerumba, JCD love songs. Send in your clips. 30 seconds, a minute. With your music and your spoken word, I'll play it. Send me some dough, though. Email address is melchizedekllc@gmail.com. If you didn't catch that, just message us on our Facebook, our Instagram pages. Thank you.
Teach people how to overcome it.
Peace and blessings. This is a News You Can Use podcast powered by BNS LLC. Thank you to our sponsors, Frenchie's Wonders, Healthy Place Botanicals. We are broadcasting live from Irvin's house in St. Louis, Missouri. It is 10:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm talking right here with this dude, this brother named Diverse. And he just said some interesting things that I just wanted to capture and congratulate him and want y'all to support this brother, okay?
What's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all for listening in to her podcast. She seemed like a peace and blessings. You know, she's great. Man, I'm loving the vibe. But yeah, like she was saying, man, I've been blessed to put a movement out called Finding Me. It's basically talking about going through your mess but overcoming it and knowing that you better than what you went through, and only what you've been through is building character, it's not built to destroy you. So Finding Me is everything. It's everybody had a point in their life where they didn't know who they were, or they still trying to find out who they are.
Sure.
So Finding Me is a movement. So jump on it, just like you jump on anything else. Thank you guys for listening. Diverse, you can find me on Clinton Diverse Mall at Facebook or Diverse Nations on Instagram.
Where's the tour? You said there's going to be a tour of your
Oh, yeah, so the tour starts in Mount Vernon, Illinois on April 20th, and then we go to Virginia in May. Then we go to Durham, North Carolina, September 9th through the 11th. And then we come back closer to this way, and we go to Atlanta, and then we stop back home to Missionary Baptist Church.
How do we get the tickets?
The tickets on Eventbrite, but I don't know if you're not from St. Louis or those certain towns. There's the promoters in those towns, so it's actually their information that they're doing.
Sure.
I'm just bringing my play to their theater, performing.
That's so beautiful. I've acted in plays since I was a little kid. So just being with a black brother that has made one is amazing. We already know that Irvin is a creator, and he's doing his thing, and he's going away to do more great things.
Right.
So how did you come up with this play, or have you been writing forever, or what? No. What's your experience?
Well, I started off writing music and all that stuff, but I didn't have I found out the music really had some evilest ways that I was not willing to participate in. You know, anything that can bring negativity to my life or my circle, in my atmosphere, I stay away from. You know what I'm saying? So writing plays that allows me to create the space that I want.
That's so beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I love about being an artist.
Yeah. So that's what made me get into it, and I love to act. I love to portray something, the realness and the rawness of it. Even if it's bad, I want people to see all the badness in it. Because we're Finding Me, you have a character in there that's just like anybody, nephew, uncle, or stepdad, that some people we overlook and say like, they seem so nice and all that. So my character shows, yes, that person can be nice, but it's a intent behind it.
Okay.
And so I show the ugly and the raw, so you understand it. Not that I just want to show it. I want you to understand that person when they're in front of you.
Yeah,
See?
you need to understand.
So Finding Me is about giving a raw, because you cannot find yourself by living a lie. You have to be who you are and be proud of who you are, even if you're a mess.
You got to.
And so,
telling the truth.
So that's what Finding Me about.
Y'all, I really literally just met this brother. But his spirit resonated with me and mine with his. And I'm so grateful that we spoke, because he's got a tour, a whole play. He's written a play and a whole tour. So that's amazing, and I celebrate him. Again, please tell us again how we contact you. How we get in contact with you again?
Like I said, you can follow me on my Facebook page, Diverse. You can look me up, or Clinton Diverse Mall is my personal profile. Or
what are you saying? Clinton who?
Clinton Diverse Mall, like the bar barbecue sauce, MAUL. Or if you want to find me on Instagram, it's Diverse Nation. But other than that, I'm at every place in the city. So trust and believe me, if you are somebody to be met, I will meet you. My energy will meet you. Just like me.
Already. Peace and blessings. We out. We're going to take a break. We're going to dance a little bit with Irvin, celebrate before he leave St. Louis. Peace and blessings. We out.
Football workouts, 10 to 12 at Deadwood Rec Centers, 1st grade through 5th grade, boys or girls. Welcome them all.
What is your name?
I'm Coach Ron, the North County Mustang.
How do we get in contact with you?
Facebook, Ronald Jordan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Keep doing the great work.
Thank you, sir.
out the window of my lonely room. I come inside my heart. Sometimes I wish that you never ever stepped into my life. I cried.
From the Loca Newcomer CD. What are your thoughts on the hashtag ADOS movement? Ancestral descendants of African descendants of slaves. I believe that's what that means. I've read a few articles on the podcast for you. I would like to get your thoughts, rein in. This is a great topic to leave a voice message that I will include in the next episode. All you have to do is download the Anchor.fm, Anchor free app. It's an Anchor app. It's what I'm using to publish these podcasts, these episodes. And you just push there's a recording button, little microphone after you download the app, and you might have to sign up. You might have to use your email, so whatever. To all you people who have issues with signing up for things. But anyway, I would love to hear what your thoughts, not only on hashtag ADOS and reparations, and what are your thoughts on black people being in America, being the only race that hasn't been repatriated. We are owed a debt. Our forefathers, foremothers, our ancestors built this country. Literally. And Jews have got their money in the Holocaust. Chinese, Vietnamese, people are getting paid. The native people, native Indians, they got reservations in land. We the only people who haven't gotten any justice, per se. And it's not even justice. It really is the hand up that we need, access to money and power. So when you have a large sum of money, that comes with having access to great power. So then you can be in rooms that you were excluded in before, when you didn't have any wealth. Basically, everybody who's running things based on the wealth of chattel slavery, the insurance companies, the ship makers, the institutions who were built, the universities that were built, the churches that were built, this government. It's just everyday life in America. Everything we know that stands today, You know, this house I live in, somebody's ancestors built, in 1923, almost 100 years ago. We're owed a great debt. I aim to get mine. Rather reparations are legally, set out for descendants of chattel slaves. I aim to get my wealth. I really am. And every good thing I do deserve every good thing that the universe has to offer me. And I truly believe that for me and for you. Dear African, dear melanated sisters and brothers, I love you so much. What are you doing across the nation, across the diaspora? What are you doing? It's Tuesday here. What are you up to? Leave us a message. Chime in. Akwaba means welcome in Ghanaian. Peace and blessings. Correction. In the introduction, I was saying hashtag ADOS said meant African descendants of slaves. It's ADOS stands for American Descendants of Slaves. Hashtag ADOS stands for American Descendants of Slaves. I apologize for that. My bad. Thanks. The roadmap to reparations, explained by hashtag ADOS. Watch. This is from YourWeb, EURWEB.com, published March 21st, 2019. In recent weeks, as Democratic candidates have announced their bid for the presidential nomination of the party, the national discussion is shifting from the U.S.-Mexico border and DACA to a reckoning with America's original sin, chattel slavery. From Kamala Harris to Elizabeth Warren, candidates have announced they are for reparations and then shown a clear lack of understanding of what that commitment means in their respective solutions. What Senator Harris is proposing in her LIFT Act is a class-oriented response to an injustice that is grounded in race. Senator Warren is suggesting she would include Native Americans in a reparations package, and Senator Bernie Sanders has put forth a stance that is tantamount to being against reparations altogether. A major driver for this discussion has been the online movement, hashtag ADOS, or American Descendants of Slavery, which was founded by myself and Yvette Carnell. Our movement aims to make U.S. descendants of slavery whole by foregrounding the necessity of recompense for the wide-ranging damages done to Black America throughout our nation's history, a justice claim beginning with slavery and encompassing the legacy of disadvantage which reaches right up to the present. If America truly hopes to heal from the tragedy of slavery and the systematic racism that followed, the country will need to pay a multi-trillion-dollar debt to American descendants of slavery in the form of both cash payments and large-scale programs. When assessing the concept of reparations, the key factors we need to look at are, number one, how much would it cost? Number two, who should receive it? And number three, how do we implement it? How much will it cost? While the sum owed in reparations for the entirety of anti-Black discrimination in the United States is undetermined, the amount of the claim just evaluating slavery in isolation without the era of Jim Crow that followed is in the trillions. The market price of the average slave was roughly equal to the price of a house, using relative earnings. A single slave worth $400 in 1850 would today be worth $195,000. As Professor Sandy Darity Jr., a leading economist and premier scholar in the area of American reparations, and Professor Dania Frank have illustrated using the work of Vedder, Galloway, and Kingeman, the gains in wealth to white Southerners from ownerships of blacks in 1859 was $3.2 million. In today's dollars, the value of that debt is estimated to be somewhere between $5 to $10 trillion, depending upon the interest rate used for compounding purposes. Economist Larry Neal of the University of Illinois calculated an even more specific number looking just at wages. His research indicated that between the years of 1620 to 1840, minus the cost of maintenance, medical food, housing, descendants of slaves in America were owed $1 trillion. Using an interest rate of 5%, that's a total of $8.4 trillion in today's money just in lost wages. All too often we forget what slavery was an institution. Slavery, it must be understood, served as the foundational pillar of American free market capitalism and was essential in shaping our core beliefs and attitudes about that economic system. It was one man using governmental legal advantage, expressed through race, to not only lock another man out of free trade, but also force him to be the very commodity which was to be traded under the most horrific conditions imaginable. Moreover, despite what has been taught, slavery was not just an institution particular to the regional South. Rather, it was an American institution. All of the transatlantic shipping ports for cotton were located in the North. Much of the manufacturing for slave clothes was in the North. And most importantly, the banks that undergirded a system that made man into currency were in the North. Even if a person did not own slaves, white America as a whole greatly benefited from the nation's economic growth as a result of slavery as an institution. In addition, the period of Jim Crow that followed made black Americans into a literal contagion to wealth, whether by employment, racism, redlining, or outright theft of land. The little black wealth that did exist was constantly pillaged. To give context, through redlining, a process where neighborhoods were graded for home loans, with those communities with any black families receiving the lowest grades. The government, through the Federal Housing Administration, made it so a single black family's presence literally destroyed home ownership wealth, not only for that family, but the whole neighborhood that surrounded, forcing black life to be closed off from gaining wealth during America's most prosperous periods. This left blacks shut out of an America their forefathers built well after the last of the slaves were freed. All while, after the New Deal, white home ownership rates rose from below 50% to now being above 70%, occupying most of the prime real estate across the country. In contrast, black home ownership rates are currently at their lowest levels in 50 years. Excuse me. And have seen little to no growth since the Civil Rights era. This is mirrored in ownership of rural land, according to the USDA Black America. Despite building the nation as slaves, own less than 1% of rural land in the country. The combined value of this land being a mere $14 billion. White Americans, by comparison, own more than 98% of U.S. agricultural land, accounting to 856 million acres, with a total worth of over $1 trillion. Of all private U.S. agricultural land, whites account for 96% of the owners, 97% of the value, and 98% of the acres. These are the financial echoes of slavery and Jim Crow reverberating in our society today. With this in mind, the U.S. owes a massive debt to the progeny of American slavery. What we find is that the consequences of the creation of race and the dissemination of advantage and wealth based on color and lineage has had lasting impacts on those families that were continuously left out of America, all while their descendants' bodies and labor built the very foundation this nation sits upon. Who should receive it? While wealth transferred through reparations can never make right those wrongs done to African Americans through chattel slavery and the periods of anti-black discrimination that followed, we as a society are obligated to make those families who were so wronged at the hands of such an immoral institution. Recently, we have seen the United States paying out reparations from friends to Holocaust victims. And while the millions paid to those victims is substantially lower than the trillions needed to make Black Americans whole, the method used in determining who was a victim proves useful in terms of guidance. Stuart Eisenstadt, the State Department's special advisor for Holocaust issues, stated in quotes, "We made the argument to the French government that they were standing in the shoes of people who would have been eligible," out quote, in justifying heirs to be eligible to receive reparations. In the case of the debt owed for slavery in the United States, this line of logic is just as applicable, if not more so. For generations, the cost of slavery and blackness has been passed down through the creation of a caste system whereby African Americans are chained to the bottom of society because of their dire economic condition and the cyclical cost of race. By every legitimate metric, this is a multi-trillion-dollar debt. However, that sum will not be paid out to Black Americans at large, but would instead go specifically to the progeny of victims of American chattel slavery and the oppressions that followed, such as Jim Crow, using the standards set out in the paper by Professor Darity and Professor Frank. End quotes, the economics of reparations, out quotes. The criteria for eligibility would be, number one, an individual would have to provide reasonable documentation of at least one ancestor enslaved in the United States. And number two, they would need to demonstrate they have identified as Black, African American, colored, or Negro on established legal documents for at least 10 years prior to the onset of the program. Effectively, this would limit reparations solely to those who have lineage that ties them both to slavery in the United States and the subsequent era of Jim Crow. Any Black immigrant who came to the United States voluntarily after slavery would not be eligible to receive reparations. This distinction is critical since a sizable number of Black immigrants, in fact, arrived in the United States following Black America's most historically significant and economically detrimental periods that occurred prior to the Civil Rights Movement. In fact, few, if any, voluntary Black immigrants outside of students were in the United States prior to the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, as shown by the Smithsonian. In quotes, before 1965, Black people of foreign birth residing in the United States were nearly invisible. According to the 1960 census, their percentage of the population was to the right of the decimal point. Out quote. Importantly, this pre-1965 group of black immigrants mostly originated from the Caribbean, and as such would have their own particular claims to make against European nations for the harms they suffered based on the slavery instituted within their Caribbean country of origin. Reparations for American chattel slavery would exclude black immigrant populations that voluntarily migrated to America, which since 1980 have undergone an unprecedentedly sharp expansion, increasing from 816,000 in 1980 to 4.2 million as of 2016. After deducting for these foreign-born blacks and their offspring conceived by two parents who didn't descend from American chattel slavery, the recipient group shrinks substantially. How do we implement it? Reparations can be paid for by the U.S. government through taxation, or borrowing. Using modern monetary theory, you could first fund reparations, and the subsequent tax revenue generated by spending would pay for the costs. America could also fund reparations and proceed to hold jointly liable all involved African nations that traded slaves to America's shores en masse, and Great Britain, whom was in control of America from 1619 to 1776, and was among the main beneficiaries of the cotton produced after America's independence. Reparations should come in the form of a large cash payment to African Americans, as well as large-scale initiatives targeted at this specific group, American descendants of slavery. These policy items could include, but should not be limited to, debt-free college, home ownership assistance, business financing support, fully endowing all historically black colleges, and incentivizing those schools to admit descendants of American slavery, guaranteed government contracts for black businesses, and free medical care. Regardless of how it's paid for, this is the long-standing American debt whose recompense will cleanse our nation's soul. Initiating a reparations plan can lead to a moment of restorative justice as envisioned by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he saw economic inclusion of black America so long ago. In making the first step, what's required above all is the resolve to frame the discussion around bold, large-scale proposals for achieving reparative justice. These are the imaginative times we have waited on for generations. Reparations and the call to make it a reality are finally upon us. It is our job to answer that call and begin to help America repent for its original sin of slavery. This is written by Antonio Morris. Antonio Moore is an attorney based in Los Angeles and one of the producers of the Emmy-nominated documentary Freeway, Crack in the System. Moore is a co-founder of #ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery. He has contributed pieces to Huffington Post, The Griot, and inequality.org on the topics of race, mass incarceration, and economics. Follow him on Twitter and YouTube. Full ADOS American Descendants of Slavery agenda on the website www.ados101.com. That's www.ados101.com. Thank you again, Antonio Moore. This is on the YourWeb website, EURWEB.com. And the title again is The Roadmap to Reparations, explained by #ADOS Watch, published March 21st, 2019. Thank you so much. United Nations panel says the United States owes reparations to African Americans. On pbs.org. This was written September 29, 2016, 1:22 p.m. The United States owes African Americans reparations for slavery, a recent report by a United Nations affiliated group said. The UN Working Group of Experts on People of African Descent said that compensation is necessary to combat the disadvantages caused by 245 years of legally allowing the sale of people based on the color of their skin. The UN group warned that the U.S. has not confronted its legacy of racial, in quotes, racial terrorism, out quotes. The report, which is non-binding, specified that reparations can come in a variety of ways, including educational opportunities, psychological rehabilitation, debt cancellation, and formal apologies. Some institutions have started to take these steps. Georgetown University announced earlier this month it would offering free tuition for descendants of the 272 slaves that were sold in 1838 to help pay the university's debts. The UN report also linked past injustices to recent police killings of black men that have sparked protests across the United States. In quotes, contemporary police killings and the trauma that they create are reminiscent of the past racial terror of lynching, out quotes. The report said the U.S. created a reparations plan in the immediate aftermath of the Civil War that stated that freed families would be granted, in quotes, 40 acres of tillable land, out quotes, and a mule from the Union Army. The plan, proposed by Union General William T. Sherman after meetings with black community leaders in Savannah, Georgia, was reversed by President Andrew Johnson, and the land was returned to plantation owners. Thank you, Nation. This was written by Eugene Mason, pbs.org. The title, again, is UN Panel Says the U.S. Owes Reparations to African Americans. Thank you.
St. Louis dropping, popping.
Black bodies on the line. Let the creator elevate your mind.
New hits like this.
Like 3, you're out, no mistake. That's the way the pitch break. My old man, sleeping in his
The Redemption Song by the V.
sometimes
Nelson.
grumbling and complaining, but always keeping on. A garden of fragrant flowers. Then you, woman, child,
Last poet, you know it.
flowering garden of my heart, and my heart opened to you.
Pick it up at your local
Like
neighborhood
a stream
stores.
flowing out. Black bodies on the line, always trying to survive, y'all. Sometimes having close calls. Can't see the writing on the dirt walls, stepping lightly to avoid the deep falls, the traps that snap upon our tender minds, teaching us to love crap and to hate our own kind. Gold of the ghetto, never been refined, staying rough, thinking it's enough to be strong and tough, forgetting love, forgetting God and his ways above, living by the laws of the street, moving to some mean beat, survival of the fit, careful or you take a hit, lives stuck together with dirt and spit, that's it, black bodies on the line, always trying to survive, y'all, sometimes having close calls, can't see the writing on the dirt walls, stepping lightly to avoid the deep falls, moms on food stamps and welfare, daddy going and broke camp, can't be found nowhere, underneath the street lamps where we say our best prayer, baby brother in drugs and got shot in the head, baby sister lost hope, won't get out of bed, whole neighborhoods are war zone, calling hits from the car phone, black bodies on the line, always trying to survive, y'all, sometimes having close calls, stepping lightly to avoid the deep falls. Can't see the writing on the dirt walls. Trying to discern the way out of all this pain. Ain't got time to learn how to turn this loss to gain. Living under strain, so much we can't contain the anger that we sometimes feel from one another. All this heat and passion driving us to kill our brother. We got to learn how to really search out life. See it clearly like a cut from a sharp knife. Set our feet on God's true path. Then we'll understand some godly math. 1 and 1 is more than 2. When the 2 is God and you. Black bodies on the line. Let the Creator elevate your mind. Learn to love yourself and your kind. Though the ghetto needs to be refined. The future needs to be designed. Black bodies on the line. Remember God and His ways above. Remember divine and holy love. Leave behind the laws of the street. Stop moving to them mean beat. Black bodies on the line. Stop just trying to survive, y'all. God will save you from them close calls. Help you read the writing on some clean walls. Avoid the danger of them deep falls. Teach you to walk tall. Black bodies on the line. Black souls and bodies on the line.
Reading from The Intercept, theintercept.com. This article is titled, Bernie Sanders Asks the Right Question on Reparations. What does it mean? The article is by Brianna Gray, published February 26, 2019 at 12:11 p.m. After Senators Kamala Harris and Cory Booker were asked about reparations for slavery in a Breakfast Club interview last week, the issue quickly became hot on the 2020 campaign trail, with candidates Elizabeth Warren and Julian Castro quickly voicing their support for the policy. Last night, the reparations question surfaced again when Senator Bernie Sanders was asked for his position during a CNN town hall hosted by Wolf Blitzer. In quotes, "There are massive disparities that must be addressed," out quotes, Sanders answered. In quotes, "There is legislation that I like, introduced by Congressman Jim Clyburn. It's called the 10-20-30 legislation, which focuses federal resources in a very significant way on distressed communities," out quotes. He went on, in quotes, "I think we have to do everything that we can to end institutional racism in this country. It is not acceptable to me that the rate of childhood poverty among the African American community is over 30% in this country. That is beyond belief that African Americans die from cancer at higher rates than whites. So we're going to do everything we can to put resources into distressed communities and improve lives for those who have been hurt by the legacy of slavery," out quotes. Sanders' response was broadly similar to other candidates who support reparations. Unlike in 2016, when Sanders joined Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama in not supporting reparations, the Vermont senator was careful not to appear dismissive of the underlying right to recompense. Like Senators Cory Booker, Harris, and Warren, he acknowledged racial disparities resulting from the, in quotes, "the legacy of slavery," out quotes, and the need to address them. Unlike any other 2020 candidate, he went on to offer his support for specific legislation, which would address racial disparities. The Clyburn/Booker 10-20-30 aimed at attacking persistent poverty. Blitzer posed a follow-up question demanding an up or down answer. In quotes, "So what is your position specifically on reparations?" Out quotes. At this point, Sanders asked a crucial as yet unasked question. In quotes, what does that mean? What do they mean? I don't think anyone's been very clear, out quotes. And he's right. Up until now, no one's bothered to define reparations in the context of 2020 vetting, and the discourse has suffered for it. Like Harris and Booker before them, Warren and Castro's support for reparation amounts to support for a principle, but not a policy. In quotes, black families have had a much steeper hill to climb. We need systematic structural changes to address that, out quotes, Warren has said. Castro, the former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, offered, in quotes, I have long thought that this country would be better off if we did a way to do that. Reparations, out quotes. The in quotes, structural changes, out quotes, Warren evokes aren't necessarily racially specific, and Castro's statement that we'd be better, in quotes, better off, out quotes, with reparations managed to dodge the question of whether he supports reparations as a political matter entirely. In quotes, this is not something that I see through a political lens, out quotes, he said, before proposing a, in quotes, task force, out quotes, to look into the issue. Although Harris has said she supports, in quotes, some kind of reparations, out quotes, the examples she's pointed to, like her lift tax cuts, aren't race specific, though they would disproportionately help black Americans. Booker hasn't proposed race-targeted programs. Booker has similarly proposed race-targeted programs, pointing instead to his baby bonds plan, criminal justice reform, and other anti-poverty programs. Because they've not been pressed for details, the candidates have been able to voice, in quotes, support, out quotes, for reparations without committing to any particular policy or goals. But while the press may not appreciate the difference between symbolic posturing and genuine policy commitments, many black Americans have. In quotes, what Kamala Harris is proposing is a class-specific piece of legislation, out quotes, tweeted Yvette Carnell, founder of hashtag ADOS movement, which advocates for the interests of American descendants of slavery. In quotes, reparations for hashtag ADOS is a race-specific piece of legislation. America inflicted race-specific harm that requires race-specific redress. Stop trying to lie to us. We're not stupid, out quotes. Carnell's tweet followed an interview in which Griot reporter Natasha Alford asked Harris a critical follow-up question after the California senator evoked race-neutral programs like her LIFT Act in response to an inquiry about reparations. In quotes, so by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you've explored, out quotes. Harris's answer, after a lengthy preamble, was no. In quotes, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that only benefits black people. No, because whatever benefits black people will benefit society as a whole and the country, right? Out quotes. Harris couldn't have been more clear about not supporting a race-specific reparations program. Yet the press has generally covered all of these answers on the question of reparations as yeses. Estelle Herndon at the New York Times has reported that Warren, Castro, and Harris, in quotes, supported reparations, out quotes, though he acknowledged that Warren's campaign, in quotes, declined to give further details on that backing, out quotes. The no's, too, have been described inconsistently. In the space of one article, Herndon characterized Sanders as having, in quotes, dismissed, out quotes, reparations as impractical in 2016, while writing that Clinton had merely, in quotes, declined to support, out quotes, reparations that year. It would be more accurate to say that she dodged answering the question directly. And while neither Sanders, Clinton, nor Barack Obama answered yes on the question of reparations, Herndon characterized Obama's response more gently, writing, in quotes, the first black president was seen in some political quarters as reticent about prioritizing the interests of black voters, and he called the idea of reparations impractical in 2016, out quotes. It's worth asking who benefits from the inconsistent coverage and empty political posturing. Consider the effect of Obama's rationalization against Consider the effect of Obama's rationalization against reparations, which has gone largely unscrutinized. In a 2016 interview with Ta-Nehisi Coates, Obama argued that, in quotes, as a practical matter, it is hard to think of any society in human history in which a majority population has said that as a consequence of historic wrongs, we are now going to take a big chunk of the nation's resources over a long period of time to make that right. Out quotes. Of course, that's not true. As Obama went on to acknowledge, Jews received reparations from Germany following the Holocaust, and Japanese Americans received reparations after internment during World War II. Obama attempted to distinguish black Americans from other groups, adopting the right-wing argument that reparations were politically impractical because too much time had passed for black Americans to collect on the debts of slavery. According to Obama, Holocaust survivors and their children, only 1 or 2 generations removed from the genocide, could say, in quotes, that was my house. Those were my paintings. Those were my mother's family's jewels. Out quotes, in a way that black Americans could not. But the passage of time has never been more than a pretext used to justify not paying what America had promised it would, the now proverbial 40 acres and a mule. The question of reparations have been raised continuously since before the end of the Civil War, including by President Abraham Lincoln, who seriously considered the issue, not for slaves, but for slaveholders who felt they should be compensated for their loss, in quotes, property, out quotes. Indeed, an entire movement of slavery opponents pushed for 30 years to simply buy out the slave population to avoid war. And throughout the 20th century, including in the 1960s, when those born into slavery were in their 90s and many millions more of their immediate descendants still lived, requests for reparations were continually ignored. Over the years, the excuse that, in quotes, too much time has passed, out quotes, increasingly came to be rooted in reality, but only because it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Obama, a lawyer, should know better than to argue that the statute of limitations or reparations had lapsed when a timely claim had been made. But in truth, there are now legitimate but now insurmountable logistical concerns to administering a race-specific plan. How do you account for people who are only partially descended from American slaves? What about those who can't prove their lineage? What about families who immigrated early enough to experience Jim Crow but after slavery? Is the most politically viable way to deliver material benefits to Black America via intersectionally designed universal programs? These questions are crucial to anyone serious about pursuing reparations, and it could be argued they're the questions that a genuine supporter of reparations wants to explore. But none of them were ever put to Obama, Clinton, or Sanders in 2016. The assumptions put forward by Obama and others were never challenged, and none of these foundational questions were raised at last night's town hall. It's almost as if the interest in reparations was only symbolic or political. As I argued last week, the void left by a lack of serious political conversations about reparations have created opportunities for politicians to use reparations as a political brinkmanship, a way to effect commitment to Black Americans without committing to anything beyond lip service. But by asking Blitzer to define what reparations actually means, Sanders shifted the conversation from speculative rhetoric to practical policy, and in doing so, made it more likely that the goals of reparations will be pursued in good faith. He forced everyone to show their hand. Importantly, there is currently no consensus on what reparations would look like. Coates famously wrote over 15,000 words, making a powerful case for reparations, but even he failed to come to a firm conclusion about what we should do. When I spoke to Duke University professor Sandy Darity last week, an authority on the subject of reparations, he emphasized that a full-scale attack on the racial wealth gap will require a racially targeted project on the order of a large-scale reparations program. But he also acknowledged that universal programs of the type now on the table can reduce racial wealth inequality. Darity has specifically championed Booker's Baby Bonds program as the class-based plan best positioned to close the racial wealth gap. But he was also clear that the program is flawed insofar as it's pegged to parental income, not wealth, where the biggest racial disparity lies. The original Baby Bonds program he designed with Ohio State economist Derek Hamilton was key to wealth, but Darity says that Booker chose to base his plan on income because of, in quotes, convenience, out quotes. When I pointed out that millions of parents calculate their wealth to apply for federal student aid for their college-bound kids every year, Darity agreed that it wasn't as easy, but it was doable. The point is that universal programs are not a substitute for racially targeted interventions, but, in quotes, the ideal world, out quotes, he says, is one in which you'd combine approaches that target wealth, prioritize giving more resources to the poor, while also closing the gap by taxing the rich. To ensure that the ostensible goals of Black Americans are met, it's important not to lose sight of the fact that equality will require a multi-pronged approach. All of the 2020 candidates can be faulted for not turning attention to the question of reparations until campaign season, but it feels strange to demand that candidates throw their unqualified support behind something that no one can yet define. The preliminary questions journalists should ask instead of, in quotes, do you support reparation, out quotes, are these. Number one, will you commit to meaningfully researching and developing a plan for reparations? And number two, if and when you develop a policy, will you commit to implementing it? I suspect most candidates would have a much easier time answering, in quotes, yes, out quotes, to this formulation, and rightly so. At this point, every candidate who has opined has done a solid job of articulating the why of reparations, slavery, Jim Crow, disparities. Now the question worth asking is the how. Ironically, as long as the question of reparations remains vague, it's more likely to be controversial. Undefined reparations can take the form of the public's worst fears, a free, in quote, check, out quote, to the, in quote, undeserving, out quote, Black masses, which who knows, might be the best option, versus tuition or housing grants that mimic those New Deal programs from which blacks were historically excluded. Both black and white legislators have shied away from the question of reparations, treating it as a political hot potato, hiding behind the idea that reparations are just too complicated to administer. Nailing down an actual plan destroys that rationale. Vagueness is a gift to the non-committal. Thank you again, Brianna Gray. This article you can read on theintercept.com. Bernie Sanders asked the right question on reparations. What does it mean? By Brianna Gray. Thank you.
Check this out. Yo, them beats is poppin'. Check this out. St. Louis' very own hit record release. Love Song. By JCD, rap artist. Yeah, he's fat. And now I lay me down. Check this out. If they ain't paying, I ain't staying. If they ain't spinning, I ain't. From MIDT Records, B&B Productions. Pick it up at your local neighborhood store. Sound.
Love song. JCD, this episode is dedicated to the lovers and you. That should be you and everybody.
People, the us on us, people, the drugs. When homies used to break dance in every wall with they spray can. Roxanne, it was the jam. We was country as hell. Two-tone pants, Jerry curl dripping. House parties on Kipton Lane, no gang tripping, just sipping on cold 05. In no highs, I stole from my cousin, Buzzy, at 14 years of age. In the projects, prospect, get a girl, the only object. Did, cause we was like live and let live, good time. On the TV after 7 dessert, Georgia Weezy, my mama's in the distance, calling my name. I got a paper, she'll be shaking my frame. She stuck with both rows, with my daddy, shows hoes over family. I love you, girl, for the world. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You deserve it to the end of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You deserve it to the end of time, and you will never find a love like mine. I was seeing dirty, was on the wheels of steel. This was just around the time when Daryl Mays was killed. Every weekend partying, we on the hill. Grown folks in the hood was getting high off dips. In the streets like 3 in the morning, I'm coming home to a beat down. It was worth it for kicking verses on that dope spot. Latone had got shot by the rollers, and his possession was no Yolas. Became my household name to the game. Lost a sister in a bad exchange. Sometimes I see her smiling on the days of rain. I feel your pain, hollow beat that name. We used to kick it with my auntie, getting drunk with 9 distinct G40 OCs. And Snake is banging at the front door. His mama kicked him out, let him in. You ain't know you bitch for reason. All the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can serve it to the end of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can serve it to the end of time, and you will never find a love like mine. And as the years went by, things only got worse. Some of my homies got snipping, and they did they dirt. Now once again we suit and booted in the family church. Paul Bearer to the back of a hearse. It showed her. Told your mama that I loved her, and we mixed some tears. Told your lady take it easy, and I kissed your kids, and I'm blown to the point that I'm about to throw up. I'm showing up mad, cause half of the homies ain't even show up. Flew to Cali and I'm out the town burn. Got a call from home, they said my dog was gone. I dropped the phone and told CeeLo. My only question was why, but now we know. I did an album and the video. You should have seen it was half the hood and a gang of silly hoes. They say we laying in the beds we make. I might be with you soon. Say what's up to head snake. Millions of degrees and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can search into the ends of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can search into the ends of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can search into the ends of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can search into the ends of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can search into the ends of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can search into the ends of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the people tears I cry. To those that never left my side, I'll never leave your side. You can search into the ends of time, and you will never find a love like mine. Million memories and all the
MIDT Records. And welcome back to the News You Can Use podcast. Did you know that your support keeps this podcast alive, keep episodes getting recorded, new content created, researched? Just gives me the power and the energy to continue to create more news you can use. Time that the hours per episode and per marketing sessions that I spend creating this for you takes away from me participating in any other income-driven activities. So your support is needed to sustain future episodes of the News You Can Use podcast, and also for leveling up, because I want to make this better for you. I have a logo getting worked up for you and connecting with other vendors so that we can really just be set up just like when I talk about sponsorship, we can set up just like the radio stations do. The radio stations come and they show up, they set up a whole music DJ, have a DJ to attract business to your to drive clients and customers to your store or your physical location. And that's the whole point of the News You Can Use podcast. And so your support is needed. You can contribute monthly by clicking the support this podcast button on the Anchor app. When you give $9.99 monthly, I get, as the creator, get 13% more per dollar. So I'm really grateful for you, and continue to give and show your support and love. Thank you. Engage. Let's connect. Ujamaa Cooperative Economics. Akwaba means welcome in Ghanaian to a News You Can Use podcast powered by B and Us LLC. Thank you to our sponsors, Frenchies, Wonders, Healthy Place Botanicals. My name is Frenchier. I am the host and creator of a News You Can Use podcast, along with the businesses B and Us LLC. That is also my business, Frenchies, Wonders, Healthy Place Botanicals, as the sponsors. Connect with us on social media. The word is BE, then the word us, LLC on Facebook, at Frenchaire, spelled FRENCHAIRE, on Instagram, on Twitter, Miss Frenchie 06, MSFRENCHY06. Watch and subscribe to the YouTube channel, B and Us LLC YouTube channel. Pin with us on Pinterest, Frenchie's Wonders, FRENCHY '(S) Wonders, WONDERS. Shop with us at BEANDUSLLC.com. That's BEANDUSLLC.com. BEANDUSLLC.com. And also Frenchie's Wonders Healthy Place Botanicals.com. HEalthyPlaceBotanicals.com. You can also get your own store. Book me for educational presentations or to discuss financial planning by filling out the form at FrenchaireGartner.com. I will come to you to present for a group of 10 or more the Power of Life, an hour-long Power of Life insurance seminar, or educate you on the benefits of your auto and home and renter's insurance, property casualty. That's FrenchaireGartner.com. FrenchaireGardner.com. That's FrenchaireGardner.com. That's my name. Fill out the form to book me now to come present the Power of Life Insurance 1 hour long seminar or educate you on the benefits and the structures of your property and casualty insurance. I am the webmaster and marketer for Amber Bookstore, LLC. And you can shop your African cultural, historical, children's books, fiction and nonfiction books, novels, health books at www.amberbookstores.com. That's amberbookstores.com. Thank you so much. Make sure that you download the Anchor FM app. It's an Anchor app. It's a free app. It's where I'm recording this podcast. You can download the app to leave messages that I will play on the next episode. So leave messages in response to what's been heard or to suggest topics or news that you can use. Leave us a message. Make sure you continue to click that purple support this podcast button on the Anchor app to contribute monthly to this podcast. When you contribute $9.99, I receive 13% more of each dollar that you donate. You can also donate directly through paypal.me/Frenchaire, PAYPAL.me/FRENCHAIRE, or through Cash App, CASHAPP. I didn't mean to spell that. But my Cash App name is $BEANDUSLLC. That's $BNUSLLC. $BEANDUSLLC. Thank you so much for your support, your love, your Ujima, your cooperative economics. Everyone can show love to this black business. Thank you.
This is Bun B, the Trill OG, repping UGK for life. Long live Pimp C. Smoke something, bitch. That's the trademark. Show them how we do it, baby. Pimp C, P.A. Trill figure. Polo, fuck that hill figure. Made myself a ghetto star. On the slab, sipping bar. Smoking weed and selling white. Them other niggas' work don't come back right. That's how niggas get popped. Trying to get the cheap price. Watch your paper, guard your life. Come on to these niggas ain't living right. Keep your pistol, fuck a fight. The niggas out here jacking every night. Keep my mind on my money, you can fuck the fame. Big face hunters, deep in the game. Hitting them corners in the candy thing. Sitting on leather, ripping the grain, man. Good weed, good drink, big money, man. Rolling in something foreign on leather, grip and grain. I handle my business, so I think I deserve to get thrown. To get what, though? Yeah. Terrible Texas, where legends are born. Lil Kiki the Dawn, original screwed up click. We dedicate this to DJ Screw, Fat Pat, Big Hawk, Big Steve, and Young Pimp. And we draped up and dripped out. Know what I'm talking about. Draped up and dripped out. You know what I'm talking about. Draped up and dripped out. Know what I'm talking about. Draped up and dripped out. Let's get it. Well, it's Big Bun Beater, baby, Mr. Wood Grain. With diamonds up against them, balling through your hood, man. And I'm smoking on some good, man. The color purple, not the movie, but the kind that have you going in the circle chrome. Looking more classy than the Tresco Tower. Car dripping candy paint like it just came out the shower. Like face, I got the money, the power, and the finesse. All around one deep, 100,000 around my neck. I'm looking real shiny, you can see me from a mile away. Thought you was doing it till I came and took your smile away. Pull up on your side in the turning lane. Pop my trunk, break you off, chunk of deuce, and I'm Cadillac turning, man. Little swing to the left, big swing to the right. My plate scraping and I'm dripping the pipe. It's super tight, so don't try to knock us, baby. Don't try to hate, that's how we do it in that Lone Star State.
Hey!
Dripped out, know what I'm talking about. Draped up and dripped out, you know what I'm talking about. Draped up and dripped out, know what I'm talking about. We draped up and dripped out, know what I'm talking about.
Hey, Fun D, y'all. Bass and bars.
It's going down, bass and bars, baby.